I pretty much vowed to never buy another Call of Duty game after Black Ops 4 threw up its hands and revealed that they don't care about the single-player campaign at all. It showed to me that this franchise was catering to an audience that was on the opposite end of the gaming spectrum to me, and only tacked on a campaign to try and get people like me to pay full price for a mindless 5-hour shooter. Until October 25th, I had only ever played the original Modern Warfare trilogy, as I'd heard the campaign was a seminal FPS experience. The first one certainly was, and it went downhill pretty fast from there. But thanks to Game Pass, I have now beaten my 4th Call of Duty game, and now I'm amazed that my perception of the franchise's single-player component has changed from a mindless, minuscule FPS to a meaty, diverse espionage game with some of the best set pieces of the decade. I'm not sure when this switch happened, or if the game in question is the first step on COD's quest to improve its single-player offering, but my expectations were well beyond exceeded, and I'd like to lay out why this campaign has gripped me where the other campaigns soured me. Firstly, the story feels like something out of an espionage action thriller, instead of bending over backwards to justify a reason why we're having to shoot the foreigner of whatever country America doesn't currently like. Where a villain like Makarov was so cartoonishly evil that I couldn't take him seriously in a game that tried to ground itself in a gritty realism, Black Ops 6 dedicates an entire chapter to the villain's motivations and making it believable why they would do what they did. This is presented to us through a psychedelic mind meld into their psyche, which represents an enormous shift in gameplay as we end up solving puzzles, something I would have never expected to do in Call of Duty. And it's the puzzle-solving moments like this that make me think I've misjudged COD, as this diversified gameplay gives the campaign something I never thought this franchise had: pacing. See, the main reasons I don't like the campaigns of Modern Warfare 2 and 3 was because they just felt like shootout after shootout with nothing to break up the gunplay. While the shooting was done extremely well, it eventually grew numbing to me. Whilst Modern Warfare 1 had several gimmick levels that broke up the shootouts, with the highlight being all gillied up, which still stands as one of my favourite FPS levels of all time, on the same level as the Covenant from Halo 3 and Affecting Cause in Titanfall 2. These action-packed but slower moments help to make the intense cinematic set pieces all the more glorious, and this is something Black Ops 6 truly understands by breaking up the missions with so many moments that let you soak in the world around you. What's more is that it's never the same type of slowdown twice. From a Hitman-style level where you can tackle multiple objectives to reach your goal, an open-world segment that breaks up the fighting with exploration, or even the aforementioned deep dives into a character's psyche. These moments help to make my characters feel like more than just standard army soldiers by showing us multiple facets of their personality, and of course it makes its set pieces feel all the more special. When meaningless action is bombarding the player, it makes them less receptive to when there's a genuinely cool moment. Black Ops 6 joins the ranks of Mario Kart 8, Uncharted 3 and Left 4 Dead 2 as games where the levels set in an airport are the absolute cream of the crop. The pure exhilaration of driving that tank through the terminal and then shooting a plane as it took off was pure adrenaline-pumping excellence, and it's only effective because the game isn't trying to constantly one-up itself with bigger and better levels. It's deliberately paced like a film, with stealth moments, character-building moments, and even a goddamn horror level, which gives greater weight to these moments, making for a more grounded and believable narrative about characters who don't come across as Mary Sue soldiers. While I haven't played a COD campaign that released in the last 10 years, I have a sneaking suspicion that this is the first time in a while where the campaign has had this much effort put into it, as Christopher Judge's burn at the Game Awards certainly cemented my choice to avoid these games. But if this game performs well enough that Xbox continues to put these campaigns on Game Pass, I certainly wouldn't mind spending an afternoon running through these levels if they come across like an actual story and not a horde shooter with cutscenes. Overall, Black Ops 6 is the first Call of Duty that feels like a complete game, with a focus on variety in content. I truly wouldn't have minded if this game was double the length, as long as it kept throwing new ideas and gameplay styles at me to keep the context for the shooting fresh. While I'm still bitter that Activision makes almost no video games outside of Call of Duty anymore, If the legion of developers they have at their fingertips is turning out fun 8-hour games like this, then I suppose I can live without another prototype. I'll be back in 2 days, so consider subscribing, and in the meantime, here's a video about why Doom is nothing without its speed.